Hello, I'm Jay Jackson. Welcome to WineNewsNoir.com. We begin this episode in Inglewood, where living legend Iris Rodeo held a sold-out book signing. Not only is she the first female African-American winery owner in America, but Miss Rodeo is still on the battlefront of politics. I talked exclusively with the legend about the state of wine and the Black community. From teenage mom to investment broker to award-winning winemaker, Iris Rodeo has seen a lot of change in her life, and in the world of wine, she's seen the biggest change of all.
Black people are changing the face of the wine world. They're understanding the importance of doing what you love, understanding the meaning of wine, what it represents. It's just not drinking wine, it's making it, it's becoming a consumer, it's becoming a sommelier, it's becoming a winemaker, a winery owner. We are on our way. We're not going to stop. I think we've gotten much further ahead than I expected.
She should know Rodeo has been on a whirlwind book tour promoting her critically acclaimed memoir, From White to Black, One Life Between Two Worlds.
I'm overwhelmed and totally surprised at the type of response I've gotten from my book. People want to know the story, the reason why, behind the history, and the reason where we're going.
On this night, a full house of fans filled the seats at 1010 Wine and Events in Inglewood, listening with bated breath to every word Rodeo uttered, from her years as passing as white to becoming the first female African-American Creole winery and vineyard owner in America. Still, she's focused on the future of wine and the Black community.
I'm extremely proud of Leanne and Leslie for what they've done here tonight, at this wine bar, 1010 Wines. This is a whole new dimension for the wine and Black community. This is just the beginning. There'll be more wine bars selling wines made by Black winemakers. I think we have reached a place where we're starting to really understand our place in the wine world, where we belong, and we're never going to go back.
Rodeo, though, sees roadblocks. In particular, dog whistle racism is on the rise, led by race-obsessed Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. His anti-woke platform has galvanized anti-Black racists across America. Rodeo says that's the fight all people must focus on.
I think that it's really important, especially for our young people, to know that we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. Especially today, we have to stay woke, which is what I love to say. It's our word. We're staying woke, and we're going to vote. And we're going to make sure that all of our family and friends get out to vote, because that's what it's going to take for us to maintain this country as a democracy.
To find out where Miss Rodeo is appearing next, just go to her website at irisrodeo.com. Be sure to stick around for more words of wisdom from Rodeo at the end of this episode. A shocking lawsuit, new sales numbers, and the best Cabernet Sauvignon in the world. Here are the top stories for this month's Wine in a Minute. Wine Enthusiast magazine is facing a discrimination lawsuit over the firing of a transgender employee. A former assistant tasting coordinator who had several gender-affirming procedures says the magazine allowed employees to harass her, insult her, and failed to protect her. A company lawyer told reporters the suit is without merit. New data shows domestic wine sales jumped 16% from this time last year. Table wines shows the biggest gains of 29%, while sparkling wines fell by 7%. The numbers were released by the market research firm BW 166. A South Australian wine has been named the best Cabernet Sauvignon in the world. Riddic's Pastoral List beat out 6,000 other wines that competed in the International Wine Challenge. The 2021 vintage that won the challenge cost just $40 per bottle. And finally, we end this episode with some holiday tips. Juneteenth will be celebrated by millions of Americans this month, paying tribute to the day the last enslaved African Americans found out slavery had ended, June 19th, 1865. But what's the best wine to celebrate with? Our resident expert gives us some tips. It's June, and that means Juneteenth. Music, parties, history, and barbecue, all part of the tradition. But what about wine?
The two general concepts of pairing food and wine is complement and contrast.
Sommelier Juanito Pavone, owner of the acclaimed Cocovino wine shop in Glendora, California, says the right wine can make a great barbecue even better. You just got to know a few things. For instance, with barbecue meats that include sauce, Zinfandel might be the best call.
But you need to make sure that your wine is sweeter than your barbecue sauce, because most American barbecue sauces have a high element of sugar in it, like pretty much everything we eat in the United States. So, of course, Zinfandel comes to mind, particularly California Zinfandel, in the Lodi, Amador County, some Napa Valleys, and even some from Paso Robles.
Roasted vegetables are also a big part of the celebration. Barbecue corn on the cob is a favorite. Pavone says a good Sauvignon Blanc is the right choice.
That can be domestic California, anywhere in California for the most part, and particularly in France and some other places that do well with Sauvignon Blanc, because Sauvignon Blanc inherently is high in methoxyperazine, and this is a savory element in Sauvignon Blanc. And this pairs well with, as we said, vegetables that have salt and pepper.
Finally, desserts such as the traditional red velvet cake pair best with wines that are more like sweets for the sweet.
Red velvet cake, it requires some dessert wine. Okay, so it requires wines that are really, really high in sugar. I would go to, for instance, like Moscato d'Asti. However, Moscato d'Asti does not have the texture to hold up to that cake, especially into the icing. And texture is a very important component, almost as important as flavor. So I would get a wine, for instance, like a dessert wine, a Semillon from France or Sauternes particularly, or a late harvest wine from California or Washington, that not only has the sugars to stand up to red velvet cake, but also has the texture to deal with it as well.
As always, drink responsibly and remember to have a designated driver or use a rideshare service if needed. And that's going to do it for this episode of WineNewsNoir.com. Please be sure to visit our sponsors on our website. Also, be sure to stay tuned for some more bonus commentary from Iris Rodeo. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I'm Jay Jackson. Cheers.
Well, I think the first thing that the black wine community needs to know is that we have a palate for wine, just like white people have a palate for wine. It's only now that we're able to capitalize our ventures, to invest in our own wineries, wine cellars, wine bars, and I think that it's important for us to know that we have taken a foothold, that it's always been there, but we've not been able to afford to get so involved or as involved as we are today. And I don't think that we have to look back. We have to just look forward and know that this community is ours just as much as it belonged to wealthy white men in the past. It's not the same way anymore. We have winemakers, as I said, we have sommeliers, we have people that have found their place in this community, in the black wine community, and we're here to stay.